All right, how's everyone doing? I'm Rich CELENZA. Thanks for checking out the Mastering Self-Confidence podcast. I got my sidekick again over here from Real Business, Robert Benenati. We're going to attack something here that I'm actually very excited about because most people don't have the balls to come on my podcast and talk about it, and it's steroids. So Robert, in his past, has taken steroids. Go figure. Is this correct, Robert?
I've played around with it, yeah. I had a lot of friends involved heavily, and as a curious young adult, anything. Yeah, I was curious.
Yeah. What are we talking, the 90s here?
Yeah.
All right, let's start from kind of the beginning. So I've been living in gyms basically since about 5 years old, and I've been around a lot of juice heads my entire life, working out in gyms all over North America. I wouldn't be surprised if I've worked on, I'm not exaggerating, 1,000 different gyms. I mean, it's got to be, I can't even imagine how many gyms I've worked out in. And I don't know why I never took steroids, even though it's probably one of the most asked questions I get is, did you ever take juice? Did you ever take growth hormone? What type of supplements do you take and all these things? If you listen to any of my previous podcasts or YouTube videos, I touch on this subject a lot. And I think I got really good results. I'll just sum it up quickly where I didn't feel like I needed to. And also, I was never truly diving into becoming a power lifter or bodybuilder. I just had a mindset that I wanted to get as big and as strong as possible. And there were just things, I'm definitely afraid of needles and I'm definitely afraid of pills. If I wasn't afraid of either one of those, I think I would have done it in a second. But it sounds weird. To this day, I don't even take aspirin or anything. And so let's jump into this with you and kind of give me an idea why you did it. Because did you do it because of bodybuilding? Did you do it for women? Did you do it to look better? What was the whole? Let's start with the beginning. What, you're not getting the results you wanted?
I started working out when I really picked up a weight. I must have been about 15. And I was always in and out of gyms.
Yeah.
Right? But I was a slow gainer.
Okay.
And I believe at that age, between 15 and 18, that's when the Arnold and, the magazines and all these bodybuilders were coming along, right?
You're what? This late 80s? No, you're talking early 90s for you?
This is late 80s,
okay.
Early 90.
Yeah.
Yeah, about 87, 88 when I was about 15, pick up weights. Right at the beginning, not that I didn't take it at that age. I'm just saying where I started, and I was.
And it was mainly magazine driven. Let's call it for what it is.
Yeah,
I
think that's really when the bodybuilding world took a different approach on how they marketed bodybuilding.
Yeah, these are the Lee Haney, Rich Kaspari days.
Yeah,
right?
And all the proteins and the weight gainers, and obviously I was thin.
Okay.
Yeah,
and this phase too was when people want to be bigger, not like now CrossFit, yoga. It was a different lifestyle.
It's a different approach now.
Yeah,
it's
totally
a different
different
look. It's more physique than bodybuilders because these bodybuilders just took it to the next level. I mean,
they're animals.
Yeah.
Right.
300, I don't know, 350 pounds. I mean, really.
Yeah, they're just monsters.
But it was later down the road. I must have been, I don't know, close to 20 maybe.
Okay.
And I had some friends that were looking into bodybuilding and really trying to compete and whatnot. And I found myself always struggling to put on the weight.
Were you comparing yourself also to them?
Yeah,
right?
No, for sure.
Their gains?
Yeah, their gains.
Sure.
And we were going head to head and working out. And
were they stronger
I couldn't,
as well?
Yeah, I couldn't break through on my weights, pushing, lifting, bench pressing. and they made it seem easier, and I was always behind, struggling, and I was just at that point curious: is it really me,
Interesting.
or do I need the help? You know,
Right. You weren't getting the results you desired. Bottom
I
line.
wasn't, and and with all these weight gainers, and it was expensive, and how much can you really eat? You know,
You flatline too, probably
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Your bench, you're
Yeah.
not increasing, you're
Yeah.
not.
and then the
Negative,
approach and
or
the
whatever.
studies back then were different. So I was working out maybe 6 days a week.
Too
Or
many
even-
sets,
or
too many
even-
reps,
or
maybe,
or maybe
too
even
long.
7 days, and I was burnt out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, this is something not working here for me.
Right.
You know, they make it seem too easy. You know,
Gotcha.
they were probably pushing.
Were you eating enough food? Were you thinking about that back then? Or just eating the same amount of food? Just saying.
Well, I was eating a lot of food
Okay. Plus supplements.
plus supplements,
Not
but a
getting
lot
the
of food.
results.
Not that I was forcing it. I was eating because I love to eat,
Right.
but I can't say I was not eating enough food. That wasn't the case. So I had enough food in me.
Right.
It was just that.
Is this in New York?
So this was, yes, it was started in Argentina,
Okay.
where I started the weightlifting.
Sure.
I had friends that competed.
Mm-hmm.
There was a young boy. He was a neighbor of mine, and he was young. He was at 18, and he was already taken. And I was too afraid at that point,
Wow.
But he was an animal,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he was trained by this one guy out of Spain that was a expert, a guru in bodybuilding. He was one of the biggest trainers for bodybuilders.
Right.
Don't remember the name, but I know it was in Spain, and he was kind of his trainer. So he, had everything written down the way, between, what he had to take and train and the steroids he had to take and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I was just too afraid. I knew I was still young and my body had to develop, and I wasn't looking into getting into bodybuilding, so I really didn't, care. But I was curious enough to listen and learn,
Did you just want to build strength at this point in time, get bigger, or just
No,
for women
at-
or whatever, or to look better?
to look better and feel bigger.
Okay.
Yes, at that point, I wanted to put more mass on, right?
Yeah, you wanted more attention too, maybe, to a certain degree.
I think it was more for confidence, just to walk around bigger and
For sure. Yeah.
I think it was more that.
Yeah. More ego driven.
Yeah, I don't think the woman part, picking up or not, had anything to do with that.
Gotcha.
Honestly.
Right.
And then being in New York, that's where, in Brooklyn, and going to this basement where it was a sweat box.
Yeah.
You see these animals coming in and just pushing weights.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
oh my God, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
And then I tried.
So did you
And-
do the pill or did you needle? What are you doing here? What'd you take?
I tried.
How'd you take
I
it?
tried the pill, right?
Right.
It was a pill format. It didn't hurt, obviously, but I did see an increase in strength. I want to say more than anything.
What was it exactly? The pill you were taking, or what were you taking? Do you remember? No. Don't worry about it. So
Yeah,
then what?
and
Then you moved on to.
Dianabol, something like that, maybe.
Okay.
And I did see the change, but honestly, I kind of got afraid.
Okay.
It was too fast of a gain.
Okay. You're saying your moods, were those changing as well? Or the way you.
Besides, and my mood was a lot more aggressive. Yeah.
Okay.
I was very
so it really
impatient.
did.
I was just very angry, yeah.
Gotcha.
But also too much weight on my body.
So you're gaining weight, or
Yeah.
you're lifting heavier weight?
Both. I was
Okay.
doing both.
Where were you
believe it or
gaining the
not,
weight at?
I didn't do much legs, right?
Okay.
You can probably see today, but it was more chest, arms, shoulders.
Sure.
My neck.
Right.
Especially my arms.
Okay.
I was like, I felt like, oh man, this is going at, it's getting out of control here. So
Okay.
let me slow it down. believe it or not, I felt pain. I want to say probably like my liver section.
Well, yeah, that's what they say, right? Supposedly with the
Yeah,
pill.
I just didn't feel. I didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And I just quit
Okay.
suddenly.
Yeah.
So I didn't get off of it the way you're supposed to, slowly and whatnot.
Right.
And then that was that.
Okay.
And I tried it for maybe.
How many days? Months?
It was probably 2 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
it was like a
Consistent.
2-month process. And before starting the third month, that's when I decided not to, because I saw the change in 2 months.
Right.
Right. And then I kind of think it stayed in my system,
Okay.
because for the next 3 or 4 months, I was fine
Right.
until kind of the 5th month. That's when I noticed my strength diminish
Sure.
and my gains were not, I wasn't growing anymore at that
Right.
point. Right.
Yeah.
But I think because of where I got to, I kind of maintained. I was able to maintain for the next year the same.
Hey, that ain't bad.
Yeah, I maintained the same. Probably not the same. Not a full year. Sorry. I think at month 8, 9,
Mm-hmm.
that's when I kind of crashed.
Okay. Interesting.
And it did a backward effect. Instead of gaining and whatnot, it kind of sucked me in.
Really?
Yeah, and I lost weight.
Okay.
And what I did was I trained again. I kept training harder.
Okay.
And that kind of regained, because I kind of stopped. I felt good. I felt big. I felt where I wanted to be. So I was like,
Yeah.
I don't got to work out no more, right?
Yeah.
So I think at that point, that's what happened. But then, and then I became me again, going back in and out of the gym.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I have good muscle memory.
Yeah.
So I go in for 3-4 months. I see a quick change in my body, quick.
Yeah.
And then I stop working out for the next 6 months because I look good. I feel good.
Right. You're one of those.
Yeah. And then then I stop. Then I train. Let's say October, November, December, January.
Yeah.
February. Then March is around the corner. It's spring.
Yeah. You want to go to the beach.
I'm done.
Time to fish.
Yeah.
Let's enjoy the.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and besides, it's winter time. I feel stronger. There's nothing else to do. So.
So that's all you did. You didn't do a ton of juice or anything.
No,
I mean, you didn't.
no.
No needles or anything in that nature.
No, then I tried needles.
No.
And this happened. And this happened now in my 30s.
No shit.
In my late 30s.
Okay.
And that part, I tried a little bit. Maybe 2-3 months.
Okay.
I did see the change. I saw the growth.
Yeah.
I felt good. I was able to control my temper.
Did you break out or anything, or
no, I
lose loss of hair or anything?
No.
No side effects like that.
No. It was just enough to get me going. It was more of a boost than a full on
Gotcha.
dosage. And I was able to get off of it the way you should.
Gotcha.
I think I was more educated, and I had the right guidance. And that's important. If you have the right guidance, someone that knows what they're doing, because it could get dangerous. And people think the more is better,
Yeah.
And it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it was a small dose just to push me through.
Right.
And it kept me going. And the rest is on me. If you don't train, if you don't do what you need to do, and you watch a diet. And it also forced me to watch my diet, not eat a lot of condiments and the type of food, and, greasy foods or fried foods. And so I kept my diet clean. I worked out, drank a lot of water. I did see gains. I looked good. I felt good. I was mature enough to control my temper. But then I said, I'm not going to be a bodybuilder. That's not the reason. And I stopped, and at that point, never again. I was like, you know what?
It's over.
Yeah, it's a temporary result, and then it's over. Then why? What for?
It's so interesting, the mindset before you do something like that, and then the mindset after.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting? And it could be
really
a couple months.
Need it, and then
yeah,
I don't. At this point,
it's something fun, exciting to do, and then at the end you're like, "What the hell am I doing this for?"
Yeah, I'm not competing. So it's a
right.
cost that if I'm going to compete, I get it, right? as an edge so you could compete, so you could win a competition, so you can move on to bigger, better things maybe.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the case for me. It was more of just a personal resolution, a personal goal I had, you know, just to feel and look a certain way.
Would you recommend it to anybody, you think, for your, like, say you had a son, hypothetically, and he's in his 20s, would you?
Honestly, no, especially not in your 20s. You don't need it.
Right. What would you recommend it at all, or do you kind of?
I think it works for certain people.
Sure.
You know,
yeah.
I think they recommend it for especially older people that are losing muscle mass, and you know, I believe Alzheimer's or something like that.
Yeah.
It definitely helps. Yeah. You know, controlled under the guidance of a doctor, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
But I won't just for the hell of it, just to try it. No, I would probably say no.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't have a dog to run in this fight. I don't know much about it. I tell people, you know, you got to go with what you want to go with in life. I think some people just they regret getting on steroids. Some regret not taking steroids. You know, you hear so many different stories.
When I tried it the second time around, you know, it was you know, under a doctor's supervision, and it was a small dose just to get me. It wasn't at all dangerous.
Right.
Again, it's not dangerous if it's controlled, you know.
Yeah, I mean, tons of people live long periods of time that have been steroids, and then, as you know, other people.
Yeah, but for me, it was a small period that helped me boost and got me over the hump.
Yeah.
And then I kept going, cruising on my own.
Yeah, you had a different mindset. You know, I think it's like anything else. Can you have a few drinks and not become an alcoholic? I know extreme, but
is alcohol good for you?
Yeah.
Well, kind of. You know, your stress day, you come home, you have a glass of wine or whatever. Yeah, it's good, you know. Or but now, how much are you drinking of it? And you know, is it becoming a habit of, you know, I know people that were on the juice, you know, and for no reason, and trying to gain weight without working out. So they were just taking it. So now your body
absolutely
is going to implode or explode, you know, with all this substance in you, and you're not working out through it. You have to push it out of your system, and you have to make it do its job. Just sitting there is not gonna help you.
It's going to affect everybody differently.
Yeah.
Because none of us live the same life. Truthfully, none of us have the identical genetics. So mental, physical, everything. So when people do try to tell other people what to kind of expect, I think that's very broad because, again, none of us live the same lifestyle. You're not eating the same diets. You don't do the same workout.
And a lot of people, you know, do it. You know, you believe not, but a lot of people
for sure
try it at least. And it's been around for years. And now it's been a little more popular with all the athletes doing it.
Yeah. So a lot of those athletes, you know, that's a touchy situation. But well, thanks for sharing your story, man. That's cool because a lot of people won't talk about it, I think, openly, or they're
judging themselves. It's nothing. Anyway,
they kind of exaggerate a little bit. I think some people. Well, I can't say they exaggerate, but they're not truthful. I think sometimes, you know, let's get to the core of it. Why do we have to take that? And I'm not against it or for it, but if you just take the honest approach and say, I'm taking it for this reason, that's going to be the best thing you can, I think, do for yourself because you want to get bigger and stronger, then, you know, you're going to want to maybe do that. I don't know what the answer is with steroids or any type of supplements. I don't know what it is. It's not that I'm against them.
You know, I think they're there for the right reasons if you use it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think my reasons were the right reasons. I was just curious. I tried it. It was there. It was accessible. You know, everybody was doing it. I saw the different results. I felt like, you know, I'm putting in the hard work and they're just taking a shortcut, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to accelerate that, at least a little bit. And I tried it, and at the end, I kind of, okay, now I'm in it, right?
Yeah.
What am I getting out of this?
Yeah.
I see the gains.
Yeah.
I see, you know, the strength. But what am I getting out of this in the long run?
Right. The long term.
And out of life. Is it going to change anything in my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being stronger and having more muscles. And at the end, it was no.
I had this weird goal that if I hit 260, I would get on juice to hit 300. But I was climbing up on 260, but when I hit the 240s, mid 240s, I felt like I was going to die of a heart attack. Now, that was just me not being on anything. So I thought and said, God, I can't imagine it by putting more weight on me. And then when I dropped down to about 232, that's when I could hold that. And I knew I can hold that naturally. But I do know genetically, like I'm very fortunate to have the genetics that got me there. But it took me from, say, 13 years old to early 20s to get there, if that makes sense, or late. Yeah, I'd say early 20s. Nobody kind of I looked at it and said, hey, if I can gain 5 or 10 pounds of muscle mass per year, that's going to be awesome. I thought I was going to be very short and very thin. After graduated, I talked about it. I went from like 135 pounds to 210 in a matter of like a year and a half, which was I was very fortunate, grew 4 inches. That's not going to happen to a lot of people.
No.
I sometimes wonder if, say, I was stuck at 135 pounds, 5'6", and I'm 19, 20 years old, that would have I probably would have been a guy to at least try the pill or do something. But I kept getting results. And
if you see the results, it's not.
It was just, I was fortunate. And like I said, I'm not being a professional bodybuilder. I had a big scar. I have a big scar on my stomach from when I was a child. So I knew my stomach, the more ripped I got, the worse it looked. So I said, I can't go on stage looking like this ever. So that got eliminated out of my life. So a lot of people, I don't want to do shows, or they want to look a certain way on the beach. I didn't get caught up in that.
Does this happen to you? Do you working out, being in different gyms, do you notice who might be on?
Well, I think me being around people, so many people, close family members, friends, everybody, colleagues, being on steroids from the way they move, their skin tone, their eyes, it's almost not only the acne, the attitude, a lot of that, I guess you could say no. And also depending on the hardcore gym you go to very easily, like we used to work out, and it's part of the culture.
Yeah, I could tell. Yeah, especially if you go to the same gym and you're seeing the same people over and over again, you see their progress and not.
For sure.
And you could tell right away, okay, in 1 month, 2 months, they put X amount of weight. Look at the arms, look at their neck. There's only so much you could really naturally put on.
Yeah.
You could put quality muscle in a year, and that looks like maybe, 4 pounds maybe?
Yeah.
3-4 pounds?
Oh, yeah, if you're lucky, yeah.
If you're
5
lucky?
pounds, yeah.
I mean, that's being like eating well and to put that amount of weight in 1 year.
Yeah.
When you're putting on 10, 12 pounds in 3 months,
it's insane.
you look bloated and you look not defined, then you know who's on what. Yeah,
for sure. So we're gonna wrap it up there.
Yeah.
So basically, what Robert's saying is he's gonna sell you steroids. Yeah, definitely. If you were gonna do anything, I talk about it all the time. Do it under doctor's care, for the love of God, please. And if you don't have insurance, then get yourself insurance. If you don't have enough money for insurance, you shouldn't be spending money on steroids. Get some insurance.
Yeah, if not, talk to your local drug dealer.
Yeah, I used to have guys, friends of mine that would go to Mexico. And here's the thing: don't think what you're buying, even from a family member, friend, a guy in the gym, is truthful. They can professionally seal shit that makes it look really good, and it's bullshit. And a lot of times what you're buying from someone else, they don't even know if it's legit.
Yeah, you have to be careful with that. I had a friend that got sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't trust anyone in the game of drugs. I'm just telling you, I don't care if it's your best friend, because even your best friend, like I said, may be getting something from someone else that they thought was legit that isn't. I can't say that enough. Is do not trust anyone when it comes to any type of drugs, unless, obviously, I'm not talking about a CVS or a Walgreens or your doctor. I'm talking about anything that you have to buy illegally, or you buy, what'd you say? Off the shelf, not off the shelf.
On the streets.
On the streets, exactly. So, all right, if you get a chance, you definitely got to check out Robert's podcast, Real Business. If you get a chance, you want to tell them where else they could find your ass besides Facebook?
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can look me up, Real Business Podcast.
He's been in muscle and development, muscle fitness, flex. He's been in self. Oh my goodness, we got to do a funny one. We're all serious today. Yeah. So what else here? Yeah, I'm on. Just check my. You probably know who the hell I am, most likely. If not,
Who
whatever.
are you again?
Yeah, richcelenza.com.
There you go.
I'm all over the joint too. Just Google my name. You'll see all crazy shit on me. I have a program, Mastering Self-Confidence, where I try to help men master their self-confidence. And I also get into fitness and hygiene and grooming and really, if you want to check out my YouTube page, I've been doing a lot of different things regarding fitness, and I've been touching on subjects like not only just nutrition, I guess you could say supplements, steroids, workouts, and everything in between.
You
All right.
can reach out to Rich at 1-800-STEROIDS.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, I wanted to get somebody who I know is a big dog in steroids, and I'm talking big, like statewide, and he's punking out on me. Even though I told him I wouldn't mention his name or his face, but he's even afraid because of his voice attached to mine. So, but thanks again, man, for doing this. All right.